Any government by the people, for the people, is supposed to be a government that takes away pain from its people, that takes away burdens from its people. It's supposed to be a government that makes life easier for its people. That is the purpose of a government. Once you discover that a government has become the pain to the people, orchestrating pain for the people, or automatically we know that that government has lost the mandate. Zimbabwean government with Emerson Mnangagwa is a government that sits down to plan on how to make life painful all the time for the Zimbabwean people. And quite amazingly, you'll find that they always want to claim to be the best of the best, and yet they are the worst government anybody can ever think about. We are talking about Zinara taking money from people. We are talking about Zino taking money from people. We are talking about Zimra taking money from people. We are talking about ministers that are stealing from portfolios, ministers that are stealing from ordinary people. We are having a president who is into all the scandals that you can ever talk about of corruption. And yet, the lives of the Zimbabwean people continue to deteriorate. As we speak, Zambia scrapes vehicle import duty while Mnangagwa rips Zimbabweans off. Some countries and some governments are making life easier for their people. Zambia scrapes, imagine, vehicle import duty. And they have decided that their citizens must just pay value-added tax only, and they bring vehicles into the country. Curious in reports here that Zambia has scrapped all import and clearance taxes for vehicles. I wish it was the same for my beloved country. In Mozambique, they also do not pay duty, just value-added tax. It is insane. It is insane to dream that one day importing cars will be duty-free, right? So this is the letter that has come from the government of Zambia, and they are talking about the removal of tax on electric vehicles. Just imagine. This is quite so good. And this is what we call a government for the people. Because a government must be there to make sure that life becomes easier for their people. Right now, try and import a car into Zimbabwe. That's when you learn it the hard way. Cars are being charged up to 80%. Then they put other small taxes like whatever. You end up paying over 130, 140% of the value. We are not even talking about the cost of transporting the vehicle until it reaches the border. Many cars you find at Bedbridge border post and other borders are cars whose owners have failed to pay the exorbitant amounts that are being demanded by Mnangagwa government. And at the end of the day, those cars are sold. They are auctioned. And that's it. And it is over. Imagine that this government would have somebody has his car taken because he was supposed to pay maybe 2,000. And then that person fails to pay. And when they auction that car for $400, $500, something like that, which is quite sad and pathetic. Surely, why couldn't you make that duty a bit cheaper for somebody? Somebody could have paid 1,000, and that money could have gone to the government than for the government to auction the car for 500, where they were supposed to get 1,200. What is that? You can tell that we have some crazy people out there. Everyone who is just in ZANU-PF must be some kind of bonkers in their heads, because they don't even sit down to think. And it is quite very disturbing what we are looking at happening in the country. Imagine if other countries are doing it for their people, Mozambique, Zambia, and other countries. Do you know that it is only in Zimbabwe that you have to pay even just bringing a foreign car into Zimbabwe? You have to pay. They start to talk about carbon tax. They start to talk about TIP. They talk about this and that. You don't hear of such things when you get your car. If you take a car from Botswana into South Africa, you don't even fill any paper, not even a single paper. And when you get to roadblocks, the only thing they ask for you is the vehicle registration book and your driver's license and maybe your passport. That's it. But go to Zimbabwe and see the pain that people who have foreign registered vehicles go through. Every police officer who sees a foreign registered vehicle sees money. And they would want to try to create some funny things. We have even seen police in Zimbabwe wanting somebody to, they disregard reflectors. Imagine, car reflectors that come from the manufacturer on the car. They would still want to say, you have to put a red tape on the car, a red tape that makes your car look very ugly. Cars come already with small reflectors that are stuck to the body of the car already from the garage, from the manufacturer. But police in Zimbabwe will say that is not a reflector. I don't know what's wrong with us. I don't know what is wrong with us. They fight you over everything. If they look for the fire extinguisher. The other time I drove into Zimbabwe with a foreign vehicle, you know, the guy tried to look for everything that he thought he could want to look for, and he couldn't find. He couldn't find. He went around the car. He slept under the car, checked things inside, out, wherever, until he asked for the fire extinguisher, of which I had the fire extinguisher, and it was in my boot. And then I told him it's there in the boot. I went to open. He said, I want to see it. I opened the boot. I took it out. And then he said, it was supposed to be under your seat as a driver. Just imagine. You know, I ended up getting offended. And I said to him, you know what? I know you want money, and you've been trying to look for something that you can make me give you money. I know you are hungry. I took a packet of apples, and I gave it to him. I said, give to your friends and you eat. I'm going. Because I can see that you don't have any story here. And that is how low we have gotten to as a country. And it's quite sad. Very, very painful. We have a government that is doing that to the people. We also have civil servants who are employed by the government, who are also coming up with schemes to, again, steal from the people and make life even difficult for the people. So we have Zimbabweans are just making life hell for their fellow Zimbabweans. Our country is painful because of us. It's not because of anyone who is coming from outside or who is doing it from outside. It's us Zimbabweans that are making life difficult for ourselves. And this is quite sad and unfortunate. I don't know. Maybe in a new government, can we hear import duty on vehicles being scrapped, but not with this evil and greedy government of Mnangagwa. That can never happen. So anyway, this is what it is. We need to continue to pray for freedom, for Zimbabwe to have change, and that is the change that will bring to us the peace that we are looking for. Otherwise, with Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF, we are going nowhere. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. We will be meeting later today with more shows that are going to be coming right on this platform. Remain blessed. Always remember to put your subscribe, like, share if you have not done so. Thank you so much, and you are blessed.